Good morning and welcome to Municipal Council of the District of Lunenburg. It's Tuesday, April 28th, 9 o'clock, and we are ready to start our meeting. I would begin by acknowledging that we are in Mi'kma'ki, the ancestral traditional territory of the Mi'kmaq people, and we are privileged to share the land with them. And we have regrets from Councillor Brooks, DeLong, and Moore today. Are there announcements, acknowledgements, and recognitions that anyone wants to present this morning? I will just say that on Sunday, I attended the birthday party for Jack Wenzel, who was a former warden. I say mayor, but actually Jack was the warden who had the foresight to think about moving to a mayor position as opposed to a warden. And so I wouldn't be here except for Jack's thinking ahead about what would maybe be better for the municipality to have a mayor rather than a warden. And so it was a great celebration, lots of people, and it was really fun to be part of that. Today is a National Day of Mourning for people who have died or been injured in their workplace. And there have been municipal workers across the country, but here in Nova Scotia, who died as a result of their work on behalf of municipalities. So I just acknowledge that today, and we'll take a minute of remembrance for they and their families. Thank you. This is an opportunity for public input, and I know we have a number of people from the Hebbville area who will be, Mr. Hebb will be presenting to us, but if there's anyone else who wanted to speak this morning, we allow 15 minutes for opportunity for public input. Don't see anybody standing up. This is, I encourage people to make use of this time. It's very good opportunity to convey concerns, and not only concerns, but maybe things that they like about what the municipality is doing. But we appreciate the input from our residents and allow for that at each of our meetings. We'll move then to the approval of the agenda, and the agenda has been circulated and posted. Would someone make a motion? Moved by Councillor Oikel, seconded by Councillor Hubley. All those in favor signify by raising their hands. Motion is carried unanimously. There are minutes to be approved from April 14th. Are there any corrections to those minutes? Councillor Smith.
I just wanted to express appreciation for the person who did the minutes because I think it was very hard to summarize the public input that day, and to me, each line seemed to capture the essence of what people were putting forward. That's a challenge, and I just want to say thank you to staff for that.
I did note that as well. I don't see anyone with corrections, so I will approve the minutes as circulated. There's business arising from the minutes. Do you want to comment?
Sure, yes. So as noted, there was significant public input at the previous meeting. Much of it related to an agenda item that was on the agenda, the decision around the Anti-Racism Committee. There was also one person that had questions and comments about a development, and those matters have been referred to staff.
And with that, just for people that may be in the gallery or watching, we do follow up for those items, and with individual communication as required. If people raise issues, it does become part of the public record. So it isn't treated lightly by our staff or by council. We'll move to item number 7, which is the awarding of tenders, and 7.1 is the award of Cookville traffic signal upgrade proposal. And Mr. Feener.
Good morning, Mayor and Council. As part of the Cookville wastewater treatment facility upgrade, a new and safer driveway entrance is required. The new entrance has been designed to align with the existing traffic signals on Highway 10. This will allow vehicles to enter and exit the site under signalized control, improving overall safety for both staff and facility users. This work was not included in the original facility construction tender, as approvals from the Nova Scotia Department of Public Works had not been received. Under the municipality's purchasing and tendering policy, the municipality can use provincial standing offers. Staff requested a proposal from Black & McDonald, who holds the provincial contract for traffic signals and electrical work across mainland Nova Scotia. This work generally includes the installation of some new concrete bases, poles, signals, arms, detection system, and electrical modifications. This part of the project will be funded through the approved capital budget, specifically from the contingency allocated to the project. We are asking for Council's consideration to award the work through the provincial standing offer to Black & McDonald in the amount of $91,700 plus a 10% contingency.
Just have a discrepancy in that amount in what we have in front of us for the motion.
So the motion was...
We have 100,870.
Correct. So it was 91,700 plus the 10% contingency, which is the 100.
Okay.
The 100,000.
Okay. Thank you for that. Okay. Good. Would someone put the motion on the floor, and then we can have any questions related to the motion? Councillor Burns.
To Mayor McLean-Weil and members of council, I move that Municipal Council award the work required to upgrade the provincially owned traffic signals in Cookville to accommodate the new driveway entrance to the municipal wastewater treatment facility at 401 Highway 10 in the amount of $100,870, excluding HST and including a 10% contingency.
Moved by Councillor Burns. Is there a seconder for the motion? Seconded by Councillor Hubley. Discussion on the motion. Councillor Oikle.
Yes, I'm just wondering, you said that this amount wasn't part of the budget because you didn't have the information from the province. So using this money from the contingency, will you need to come back to us for more money from other sources in order to make up for this from that budget?
So prior to this, we used about 17% of the contingency. This is, we'll add about another 10% of contingency, so we're at about 27% of the contingency committed to date. So we are not anticipating coming back, asking for additional funds.
Other questions? Councillor Burns, I see your mic is on. No? Okay. Anybody else? All those in favor of the motion has been presented signify by raising their hands. Motion is carried unanimously. I know we're a little bit ahead of schedule for the presentation, but there's a farmer waiting to get back out on a good day. So, Mr. Hebb, would you like to come forward and give your presentation, and so you can get going? It's spring and it's a sunny day, so I know you want to get going. Welcome to the meeting and to those members from the community who are with you. So I'll turn the mic over to you.
Time to given us Hebbville Village Commission this time to do a presentation about what has become a road hazard.
We'll go up a little higher there.
Yeah. And a number of residents have brought this forward about Century Drive, and just so everybody knows where Century Drive is, I'll just get my button here. I was hoping these would be a little better than this. Century Drive is right. You come to Century Drive when you come down the William Weil Road from the exit 13 exchange. And I want to point at it, but unfortunately, Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah. So Century Drive is right, no, it's not going to work on the. Yep. Okay. All right, I'm just going to describe it. I was hoping to have a better picture than that. Century Drive is located, of course, in Hebbville. You come to Century Drive. When you come down William Weil Road, whether you're coming off the exit 13 exchange or coming down 325. It is the oldest road in Hebbville. I'm just going to read what I've written here, and I don't know if you all have had a chance to read this over. A number of residents on Century Drive have come forward with concerns about the truck and car traffic. This was the original road that the settlers used in the 1700s, so it does not meet today's highway standards for safety and visibility. It has a number of blind crests, corners, and steep grades that make it dangerous. One resident did a car count out his living room window. The count was between 17 and 1,800 cars in one day. This high car count was made when the roads was closed to trucks. It is not safe to walk on the shoulder of the road with trucks having to drive on the shoulder to make the corners without being in the next lane of traffic. There have been 2 tractor trailers off the road on this dangerous corner. With the proposed new subdivision nearby, Bridgewater Century Lands, this problem will only get worse. This traffic problem was investigated many years ago with the solution of extending William Weil directly to Route 3, where this traffic is going. This idea was shut down with the DOE concerned with the small wetland in the area. I asked Sam Reeves with DOE to join me, and we walked this route that the road could take. He said with proper paperwork, this could be possible. The water holes that were of concern were made by the previous owner to remove topsoil. There have been a number of suggestions made by residents. Close William Weil Road at Century Drive to truck traffic, which would put more traffic on High Street and exit 14 to Route 3. Extend William Weil Road on a strip of land already owned by the province to Route 3. Leave it as it is. Present this to DOT and let them do the study on the traffic concern, which is probably the best option. The Hebbville Village Commission asks the MODL to speak for us to the proper authorities with this traffic concern that will get worse. So I hope you all understand where Century Drive is. Right, you go in by Tasty Freeze, wrap around the Hebbville Fire Hall, across, and it comes out right by Mosier Motors. So Century Drive has three blind crests, 2 blind corners, and it was probably okay 100 years ago, but it is not now. And with Mr. Paul Hebb reporting, I couldn't believe how many cars were traveling there. I pulled into his yard one day, and I looked around. I said, how am I going to get out of here? I have to back out on a blind corner. So we had a meeting about this at our last meeting. We talked about it. And like all these different options, my common sense head, farm head, I guess you call it, would say extending William Weil Road right directly to Route 3, which is where everybody, these trucks and cars are going. That would be right next to the Ultramar there, where you card lock, where you can get gas. And you can sit there and I can look almost to my farm that way, and I can look past Saunders Motors that way. So good visibility, heavy trucks coming out, don't have to be going up a hill, and they're at their destination. And then closing Century Drive, or I don't know why any truck driver would go on Century Drive after if this was built. So I'm just going to go to the next picture here. Yeah. I knew she was going to have to come here and help.
She helps everyone.
You're a little tall, sir. There.
Okay.
You want-
So here we are. We're coming to, this is William Weil, and we're coming to Century Drive. And this is what you see. You're a big truck, maybe a double trailer truck. You come to this stop sign. You've never been here before. So you can turn left or right. Let's say we're going to Saunders Motors with a load of cars, and we're going to turn left. So this is what we see. You're stopped, you're a heavy loaded truck, you got to go up that hill. We have Eric Wiggle on our commission. He says when he drives a tractor trailer, when I go up that hill, I have to put my tractor right out on the gravel on the right, and when I get to the top of the hill, almost on somebody's lawn on the right, to get around this corner. This is a combination of a blind corner and a blind crest, and Mr. Paul Hebb lives just to the left where those pine trees are, and that's what he has to face every day with 1,700 cars going by. And now the trucks are back. So what we would suggest is that truck traffic maybe not even be allowed on this corner. So I'm just going to scroll down again. So this is from the other direction. I'm right in front of Paul Hebb's house, looking back, and you cannot see the cars that are going to come up that hill right there. So that big truck, he is way over there on that shoulder of the road. Anybody walking down the road would have to jump in the ditch or on somebody's lawn. It's just not safe. And this is the worst part of Century Drive. As that truck continues on, it comes to Mosier Motors. And if you ever pull out of Century Drive to turn left towards Bridgewater, you've got a blind crest there. And you can make it with a car. A loaded truck, you're there, you don't see anybody, you start to pull out, you're halfway out, and you've got a car on you. So what I see, and I've seen it many times, is they run the stop sign so they don't get caught across the lane. I see that a lot. If you go the other way, in front of Paul Mailman's, there's a blind crest that he can't see a car coming. It goes down, comes up again, another blind crest, Mr. Brian Stevens, he can't see a car coming. So I just want to impress upon you that this old crooked road that was built in the late 1700s is handling way, way too much traffic, and it's going to get worse. This is very close to the proposed Hebbville Century Land subdivision. So we would like to see, for myself personally, William Weil extended. No truck driver would bother to go these two awkward directions. So I'll just go down a little bit further. Yeah, that's just a truck coming up around the corner. That's Mr. Paul Hebb's there. He's the guy that did the car count. You know, when you're retired and you've got time to sit there in the living room all day and count cars, that's when you know you're really enjoying your retirement. He's here today, and I pick at him a lot. And this, of course, I'm standing in Paul Mailman's orchard, looking up Century Drive, and right in that area there, two tractor trailers come down that awkward hill, which it's curved this way, but when you go the other way, it's awkward, and they come right out into his orchard. One of them was Billy Gerhardt's, and another one was many years ago, C. Boyer's Trucking with an oil truck. So I'll just go to the, I don't know if I have, I guess that's the end of my slides. So I know 15 minutes can go pretty fast. What we are asking is for council to take this to the next level, meet with DOT, and do a study on this. And hopefully bring back some of the quality of life to the residents all along this road, this very awkward old road, and find a solution. Are there any questions? I'm sure I forgot something.
Yeah, we don't actually take questions, but I will say I'm really familiar with the issues here, and I think the council members, certainly Councillor Oikel and Councillor Hubley, understand this situation. I think it's been exacerbated by the lights installation just there on the 325 highway, because now lots of people, including myself, especially last summer when the town was torn up, we zipped out of town and came around, and because those lights are there, it's very easy to access the 325, which used to be a terrible traffic hazard. And so that, I think, has helped to divert a lot of traffic. The truck traffic, we know, going to your place and to all those businesses and to this side of, to your side of town, are going in, accessing this piece of road. So, and this section of road and the road, the old number 3, have come up in our discussions about the development in Hebbville and the need for all the infrastructure, not only the sewer and the water that's needed to develop that, but the infrastructure, which includes the roads. I think your request is timed well, and we can have good discussions with Department of Public Works on this to start figuring out how this gets managed now and into the future. So and particularly because it comes from the commission, as I said to some of your members this morning, it adds the community weight to it. It's not just one individual asking for this. So I appreciate your question, your comments, and I'm just getting a note here that we can take questions. I didn't realize, but we can't take a motion. So if there are questions, Councillor Oikel.
Yes, I just want to confirm, as well as long as what you had said, the dangers of that corner, because I've walked it, going house to house, talking to residents, and it can be very treacherous. You need to really watch out. And I was present at the March Village Commission meeting when residents discussed their concerns, and they voted for approval to have Glenn come and ask us for support and help to be able to go to the Department of Transportation and see if there is a possible solution to this. So I'm glad that you came, and I'm sure that we'll be able to do something, as you had said, Mayor.
Any questions from anyone? Councillor Smith.
You kind of emphasized the traffic study by the province. Would there be any interim measures that you think that would be helpful? That would be up to the province, of course, while they were doing a traffic study. But yeah, I'm not sure how long a traffic study takes, but I'm just wondering if there's any kind of like immediate solution that you're looking for while a longer term plan is looked at.
Well, it is already, there is a very 30 kilometer an hour, I think it is 30 kilometer an hour, slow you down at this site. There is a sign there that tells you a crooked road. So those little things a lot of little things are already done. Other than removing truck traffic from that road, which would send all these trucks to exit 14, which is 10 kilometers out of their way, out and back, and of course brings all that truck traffic by the Hebbville School, which we probably don't want. I think the little things, immediate things, are already done. Yeah. I would like to say there was a quick and easy answer. Yeah.
Councillor Bell.
To Mr. Hebb, through you, please. Mr. Hebb, one of the things that I didn't hear you say which I think is related, is the William Weil Road between the 325 and Century, which also has a blind crest.
Yes, it does.
It also has the trails crossing it 2 or 3 times. I travel that road about maybe 10, 12 times a year. The one thing I noticed, basically 100% of the time I travel, is no one drives the speed limit. You never mention that, but I always find before I get through there, there's someone on my tail waiting to pass.
Yep.
And having be a pedestrian crossing on the trails, I notice, and I don't walk that slow across the road, but you get halfway across and someone comes across the blind crest and there you are in the middle of the road. So I think that that whole area needs to have an assessment, not just Century Drive. But I'd like your opinion if you have observed that or anyone else.
Yeah, well, that's right. Right by Randy Nogler's, there is a blind crest, and of course, that is not far from where the trail goes across the road. There was that one blind crest there, as opposed to Century Drive, which has 3 or 4. This would move, I'm sure, and that is definitely a problem, Councillor Bell, but this would move the traffic from Century Drive to a road that's not even built. So in this particular case, if, like I said, my thoughts are with William Weil Extension. It is taking traffic off Century Drive to an area where there is no road yet. That's what my thinking is. Yes, I should have mentioned about that blind crest on William Weil. It's not really, is it going to increase traffic or is it just going to make it better for a truck to get through Hebbville without going left or right, you know? Maybe it will increase traffic. That's, I guess, where the DOT study is going to have to help us out. But it is very awkward to get from exit 13 to Route 3. It's either 10 kilometers out of your way, going this route, or pray tell going down towards Bridgewater across High Street and trying to get a tractor trailer around the corner by McDonald's. So there are salt trucks, there are car carriers. It's just a constant stream of trucks. I don't know where they're going on this road. And, you know, they open up, if Bridgewater Century Land opens up, all that traffic will have to get back to the school. So something has to be done with the infrastructure. You know, I'm throwing it out there. I don't have all the answers.
Anything else? Oh, thank you. Thanks, Glenn, for your presentation and for the commission, for the members of your community who are here. I think we recognize this is part of the planning that there's immediate issues here, and I'm not sure how quickly any of them can be addressed, but it does add to the issues that we have to think about as we move forward with development in the Hebbville area. And whether it's short-term or long-term, this is an issue that needs to be addressed, and appreciate that you're here. And we will we'll bring it forward to Department of Public Works to start the conversation.
Thank
Okay.
you. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Okay, we will move to more awarding of tenders, and that's 7.2, which is the supply and installation of the Cubit Modular Vault building and change room buildings at Mushamush Park. Ms. Butts.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. So Cubit of Blockhouse, Nova Scotia, has designed a unique prefabricated building which meets engineering and accessibility requirements to be used as a waterless vault in our municipal parks. Last fiscal year, with Council's approval, the first unit was installed at Indian Falls Park. This fiscal year, council has allocated funding of $150,000 in the approved capital budget for a double waterless vault to be installed at Mushamush Beach Park. So staff are requesting approval to purchase the required prefabricated building from Cubit to install on top of 2 vault tanks at Mush. In addition, it has been recommended that change rooms be installed at Mush alongside the waterless vault. For this purpose, Cubit has designed a prefabricated building and has prepared 2 quotations for council to consider. One is an 8x8 unit, which would be a single change room, and the second is a double change room, which would be 8x16. So staff are here seeking council's approval to proceed with one of these 2 options in addition to the waterless vault prefabricated building. Just to review the 2 options, so option 1 would be a double waterless vault, and that would be supplied and installed by Cubit, with a double change room also supplied and installed by Cubit. The total cost for this option would be $84,500 excluding HST. The second option for consideration is the double waterless vault building and a single change room, both units being supplied and installed by Cubit. The total cost for this option would be $70,000 excluding HST. So there are 2 recommendations this morning for consideration. So we are seeking approval to proceed with one of the 2 for the purchase of 2 Cubit prefabricated buildings. The question being, do we want to proceed with a single change room or a double in the Mush Beach Park?
Because we have 2 motions associated with this tender, I'll just open it for discussion so we can focus in on sort of what direction council wants to take before we move to the motion. Deputy Mayor Vino and then Councillor Smith.
Thank you, and thank you for bringing this forward. It's an exciting one to discuss today. As somebody that uses this beach quite a lot currently, and as my kids were growing up, I definitely see the value in having an additional change room. When there was washrooms there, they often would become change rooms, and I think having the extra washroom will allow people to utilize those and keep the washrooms free for those who might need it in a hurry. Thank you.
Councillor Smith.
Yeah, I have a couple questions about this. The change rooms, I'm definitely in favor of the of 2 because especially, you know, with swimming lessons, people show up at the same time, and so and in families, and it's just better to have two change rooms available when you have so many people there. Will the change rooms be accessible, and what makes them accessible? I guess, like, we've gone through the vault toilets, so I understand how those are accessible. Although you may want to restate that since we're here again. But yeah, what would make the change rooms accessible?
So for the change rooms, a main component is based on the size on the interior of the change room. It has to meet a minimum circumference as a turning radius to meet the accessibility requirements. So we do achieve that with the size of the change rooms, just like we do with the size of the vault washroom. Also, any of the fixtures that are installed, they have to meet accessibility requirements for the heights that they are installed at within the units, as well as certain dimensions for those features. So those are all sourced to make sure we meet those requirements. Another major component is access into the unit. So if depending on the elevation, it has to be available to have ramped access, which has to have a certain slope. So along with the installation of the units, Cubit has provided a platform which meets the turning radius on the exterior of the prefabricated building to meet that circumference requirement, as well as ramps on either side for access up at the required slope. And then there's still the option at the front that someone could step up and not use the ramps if they desired. So those are the elements that make that change room accessible.
So a follow-up question around the location, and I'll just apologize, on social media, I had shared an old drawing of the accessibility upgrades that were recommended in the 2023 accessibility audit. So the location that I shared is not quite right. Can you describe where the location is for these proposed facilities, and how the layout was come to?
Certainly. So the proposed location was part of the recommendations from the accessibility audit. There was an overall concept of improvements that could be made to remove barriers in the park and increase accessibility. So as the park exists today, you come in down the road, and the first thing you encounter is a small area to park on grass and pull into. And if you keep going down the park road, there is 2 small gravel parking lots with an access into each. In one of those parking lots is an existing porta potty vault. As you proceed further into the park, past those 2 parking areas, you come to what I would consider the end of the park road, and there is a green space and a trail and a row of boulders that vehicles park in front of. And to your right, just out of the tree line, is an existing porta potty vault. That would be the location of the new double waterless vault. So that would be removed and replaced with a double unit, just along the tree line off of the green space. And the change rooms would be proposed to be adjacent to that, but closer to the water in that green space, in alignment with the vault unit. And so those were recommended locations as an outcome from the accessibility audit. There's other recommendations to make improvements to a better parking amenities and pathway connections in the park. Those projects have not occurred, and so this is just the first step in identifying that location and proceeding with installation. Right off of those, that existing porta potty is a pathway that connects down to the water. And off of that pathway that exists is where the MobiMat is installed annually for seasonal use as well.
Councillor Wickel.
Yes, I would be in agreement with Councillor Smith that one double changing room, so that there would be 2 places for families, because there is, as she stated, and as Deputy Mayor Vino stated, there is a lot of people that go to the Mush Mush Lake, and I think 2 would be an appropriate amount. 1 would just cause frustration.
Well, it is an additional $14,000, which it's good. It seems to be good value for the money, the additional $14,000, as opposed to just going with a single unit. Other questions? I just have one. I'm looking at the photo, which shows the entrance, and I just wonder. This, as you said, meets the accessibility standard, but I just wonder about that the edge, you're saying it may not?
I will comment, we have not affixed and leveled the grades around the unit. So we are up there as we speak, finishing with the improvements to Indian Falls Park. And the last thing we will do is grade back around the access with crusher dust and elevate and install. The decking is not affixed. So we're just trying to capture the photo. It was a request to put it into the agenda package, but it is not complete. So there are some discrepancies certainly that you've identified.
Thank you for that, because that was my concern, was that whatever that drop was in the front, I could just see my mother and her wheeler
Certainly.
going right over the edge. So any other questions? Would someone, I think I'm hearing support for the motion that includes $84,000. Councillor Smith?
To Mayor McLean-Weil and members of council, I move that municipal council approve the use of alternate procurement as per Section 19 of Policy 033, Purchasing and Tendering, to purchase 2 modular buildings from Cubit for installation at Musqueam Beach Park, 1 double waterless vault building and 1 double change room building for a combined total of $84,500 excluding HST.
And a seconder for the motion, seconded by Councillor Burns. Is there discussion on the motion? All those in favor signify by raising their hand. Motion is carried unanimously. This is great. Very exciting to have this, the evolution of the Cubit project, and now extend to some of our other parks beyond Indian Falls. So we will move to, on our agenda, to the next tender, which is the portable toilet rentals and servicing 7.3. Ms. Payne.
Good morning, Mayor and Council. I'm sure the portable toilets are as exciting as the vault toilets. I'll try to be just as entertaining. As Council is aware, several parks don't have any permanent washrooms such as vault toilets. So how we try to complement that is by providing rental portable toilets in these washrooms to provide washroom services to our users. The previous 3-year contract has ended, and thus a request for quotes was issued again to secure these services for the next 3 years in our parks. We received 3 proposals from that request for quotes before the closing date and the time, and all met the mandatory criteria in that request for quotes. We had 3 submissions, one from Dalton Jodrey Plumbing and Heating Limited, the other from Winchester Disposal Limited Services, and Stuart Lucas Holdings Company. Within the staff report, I have a chart outlining the cost per year to provide the portable toilets. Overall, Dalton Jodrey over the 3 years has come with the lowest quote of $80,609.94 over that 3 years. And based on that, they are our current provider, and I do want to say that we have been very pleased with the service. They've been very responsive in the past. If there was damage done to a porta potty, they came and replaced it. Very quick to respond. So the recommendation being brought forth to staff is to award the 3-year contract to Dalton Jodrey Plumbing and Heating Limited.
Councillor Bowe, would you put the motion on the floor?
Thank you. To Mayor McLean-Weil and members of MODL Council, I move that Municipal Council award RFQ 2026-01-300 portable toilet rentals and servicing for a 3-year rental servicing contract to Dalton Jodrey Plumbing and Heating Limited for the amount of $80,609.94, excluding HST. I so move.
Seconded by Councillor Hubley. Discussion on the motion? Councillor Reinhardt.
Thanks. I have 2 questions. One is, how many units does this cover?
Sure, I have that right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's 12 units in 10 parks. 2 of them being year-round, the rest of them being seasonal from May to December.
And are these the accessible portable toilets?
So some are, most are. If we have 2 in a park, one would not be accessible, but the other one would be. So we always make sure if there's only one that it is an accessible porta potty. You're welcome.
Other questions? All those in favor of the motion signify by raising their hands. Motion is carried unanimously. Thank you. Mr. Waters, for the next discussion on the Community Hub Fit-Up, Program Space and Business Hub. And I think you have a presentation to go with this.
No.
Okay.
My apologies, Your Worship. I have additional information that wasn't in the memo. The memo was pretty short. So I do have some additional information. This is the fit-up tender for the second portion of the community hub. My apologies, I did keep the memo short, as it was an extension, so I do have some additional information. It is for the program space and the business hub component, so the library space and the space upstairs. The quote came in at $925,600, not including HST. And for the purpose of this, we are using Article 19.1.9, Policy 033, Purchasing Tender Policy, which permits work to be performed on or around a leased building or the portion excluding by the leaseor. So I will say 2 weeks ago, we had a memo for council. You might or might not remember, the memo was pulled the day of council. It was pulled because the contractor indicated there was a couple pieces missing from the quote, and took what was going to be $978,000 to a little bit over $1,050,000. We went back to the drawing board and indicated that we needed the price to be reduced. That was far more than what we originally planned. So we went back out to tender, or the contractor went back out to tender on a number of items. The items that were quoted, just for reference, is all the work related to the fit-up. So there was a little bit of concrete cutting to facilitate some electrical request from the Social Public Library, the rough carpentry, the millwork, the drywalls and plumbing, HVAC, electrical, and the finish work that was done. So when we went back out to tender, we actually gave the contractor a couple local contractors to have some quotes from them. The quote came from the roughly $1,050,000 down to $925,000, so well within what we had anticipated for the budget. I will say I am asking council to approve the $925,000. We are going back out to millwork. We've been doing some work on millwork over the last 3 weeks, and we expect the millwork component to also drop, but the contractor needs to keep the trades working as they're in the building now, and they don't want the trades to leave and then come back, as that will cost more money. So we are asking to approve the $925,000, and when we bring a furniture quote back in probably 2 weeks, the furniture quote will include millwork, and I will explain the reduction of the millwork from the quote that's here. So the maximum amount here will be $925,000. And I'm happy to open up for any questions.
So just to clarify then, the original quote was $1,050,000?
The original quote was $978,000, but the contractor came back and indicated there was missing components to it, and they expected the price to be about $1,050,000. And that's when we went back and said, no, please go back out and requote. That's why it's down to $925,000.
And our budget then was what?
We don't have a specific budget for that amount, but we do have an allocation, and it fits within the allocation that we had. I think the allocation was about $950,000, and now it's $925,000, and in the anticipation is we'll probably bring that down to about $910,000 once we get the final millwork component done.
We have a motion. We could put that on the floor and then have any questions or discussion related to the motion. Someone propose the motion? Councillor Hubley?
To Mayor McLean-Weil and members of council, yes. I move that municipal council approve the use of alternate procurement as per section 19 of policy 033, purchasing and tendering, to award RCS Construction, Inc. the fit-up tender for completion of the program space and business hub in the amount of $925,600, including HST. And I so move. Oh, sorry, excluding HST.
And a seconder for the motion? Seconded by Councillor Burns. Questions on the motion? Councillor Wickle.
So I just want to understand, just for further clarification, you said that we're going, if you would like us to approve this amount, but that it may not be the end result and that there is information, like I'm kind of, a little bit confused. Are we just giving you, is the idea is we're just giving you money and you're going to do whatever within that budget amount? Is that basically what you're saying?
No. What I'm asking is to improve a maximum of 925. Once I get the millwork quote added to the furniture quote, there are a number of pieces within the building, counters and such. Welcome desks, counters, the kitchenette in the upstairs lounge, the one in the boardroom. I will bring that actual amount back, and I will indicate the savings that we have from the 925. But I just don't have that number today, and the contractor needs approval to get moving, because if I don't approve today, then I have to wait till May 14th, and that will end up costing us a lot of money, because the contractors trade folks that are over there now doing specific components like HVAC and stuff like that. So the most it'll be is 925, including millwork. I will demonstrate the difference when I bring that millwork amount back.
Thank you. Other questions? Okay. All those in favor of the motion signify by raising their hands. Motion is carried unanimously. Thank you. We'll move along to, we have seen the presentation from Century Drive and Mr. Hebb. There are no correspondence, recommendations from committees and boards. And that would be from our Policy and Strategy Committee meeting on April 21st, which are proposed amendment policy 058 on fees. You want to just highlight that?
Sure, I'll do a quick update. This came forward to Policy and Strategy for consideration of amendments to the fees policy, and it was in relation to a report that came to council in March to do with the fees related to clean energy financing and the water supply upgrade program. And so these amendments reflect those changes. Council has reviewed it at the policy strategy, and this would ratify that decision. And the effective dates of the changes would be April 1st, which has passed, and then in the fall, in November, there will also be another adjustment made to those fees to reflect it. And in table 3, you'll see that change went from, it's moved to from $250, it's up to $1,000 for the potable water supply upgrade administration fee, and will drop back down to $250 in November. And then the clean energy financing administration fee is $1,000, and in November, they've increased amount would be $1,400.
Okay, this was forwarded to us from our Policy and Strategy meeting on April 21st. So anyone who's watching that may want to see the full discussion can go to our record, our YouTube video on that meeting. Would someone put the motion on the floor? Deputy Mayor Vino.
Thank you. To Mayor McLean-Weil and members of council, I move that Municipal Council approve the proposed amendments to Policy 058, fees as presented, and I so move.
And a seconder for the motion, please. Seconded by Councillor Reinhardt. Is there further discussion on the motion? Seeing none, we'll have a vote. All those in favor signify by raising their hands. Motion is carried unanimously. Our next referral comes from Fire and Emergency Services Committee, and that's recommendations of appointments to Fire and Emergency Services Committee.
The committee itself is comprised of council members, representatives from the fire service, and at-large members, which are appointed by the nominating committee. So the annual general meeting takes place every spring, and the 4 members that have been nominated for the fire service, I believe, are all returning members.
Okay. Councillor Hubley, did you want to make the motion? Yeah. Thank you.
To Mayor McLean-Weil and members of council, I move that municipal council appoint Brian Kaiser, Chief Darren Mullock, Deputy Chief Dean Schmeisser, and firefighter Emily Bowers to serve as fire representatives on the Fire and Emergency Services Committee for a 1-year term. And I say.
And seconded by Councillor Bell. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor signify by raising their hands. Motion is carried unanimously. Thank you. We'll move, there are no staff reports, and we will move to finance. And Ms. Wenzel.
Yes, good morning, Mayor and Council. I'm bringing to you a request for an amendment to the approved capital budget for 26-27. When we circulated the budget details on March 24th for council consideration and approval the next week, the amount for the New Germany Sewer Lateral Project, the Legion Sewer Lateral Project of $25,000 was removed from that budget, so it wasn't in the total. We discovered this error early in April and determined that we can't do procurement for the project without council approval. As you'll recall, that upgraded sewer lateral work was on private, like it's a 2-part thing. The Legion has private property where they've completed their own work. And so we have to do the sewer lateral owned by and maintained by the municipality. If the project does not proceed, the municipality would have to expend operating funds to ensure the sewer infrastructure is usable throughout the year. So staff are recommending that this lateral work does get completed in this fiscal. It is unusual that these kinds of things happen, but we're human and it did. So we're here to ask for that motion, please.
Would someone put the motion on the floor? Councillor Smith, and we have a seconder for the motion. Oh, yeah. Yeah, please do that.
To Mayor McLean-Weil and members of council, I move that municipal council approve $25,000 for the New Germany Legion Sewer Lateral Project as an amendment to the 2026-27 approved capital budget.
A seconder for the motion, please. Seconded by Councillor Hubley. Discussion on the motion. All those in favor signify by raising their hands. Motion is carried unanimously. We'll move to mayors, deputy mayors, and councillor matters. Deputy Mayor, the LCLC report.
Thank you. The following is a brief update on capital projects, operations, and programming at the LCLC following our last board meeting. For capital projects, the aquatic tile condition assessment has been completed, and the LCLC is moving forward with storage solutions. Looking ahead, the new ice resurfacer, otherwise known to most as the Zamboni, is expected in July 2026. IT upgrades for this phase are now complete, and work continues on the new website with a full transition expected by the end of the month. Interior painting and drywall repairs have been completed in several areas, with additional ceiling repairs near the library being scheduled. Accessibility improvements are also progressing, including the installation of a new lift in the pool and updated signage in the aquatic center. From an operations perspective, staff continue working toward required safety certifications. A temporary repair was completed on the therapy pool pump with full replacement planned for this summer. New roof leaks caused by winter and spring weather have been identified, and a contractor has provided quotes for repair. Programming remains strong. Winter swim lessons had over 300 participants, and 13 new swim instructors have been certified. Recreation programs continue to see high participation, with over 3,700 visits this past winter and strong March break camp numbers. In terms of events and usage, the facility hosted 7 Junior B playoff games in March, attracting over 5,500 spectators. Overall, facility usage is up year-to-date with more than 118,000 visits, including nearly 14,800 during March break alone. Finally, staff continue to expand advertising and sponsorship opportunities with preparations underway for new in-ice logos and advertising tied to the new resurfacer. Thank you. That is the update, and happy to take any questions that I can answer.
Any questions from council? Councillor Smith.
The aquatic tile assessment, can you talk a little bit about that? Aquatic tile assessment, what's the project? I think what your report said was that it was complete, the assessment. What is the aquatic tile assessment project, just to give us some context?
I'll start out, and our chair of LCLC can add in anything, but with any facility with high use and aging, the tiles in the pool area become cracked and warped, and it's not always as simple as lifting a tile. Once one goes, then another goes, and it just, you end up doing patchwork, but they decided to undertake that as a bigger project. And I'll look to our chair to see if there's anything else that she might want to add.
No, that's explained. Mm-hmm. It's around all the pools.
And it is in the pool itself, right?
I thought it was only the deck.
Because the, okay, because the, yeah, I think.
It's because it was
Those
small
small ones.
tiles. They didn't hold up like a larger one will. And it is really deteriorating, especially around the lap pool.
It will mean that the pool is closed for a period of time.
Yes, it will.
This summer, fall?
I'm not sure what the
No.
time frame is
Okay.
anymore.
Any other questions? Deputy Mayor, do you want to give your report?
Yes, very, very brief agenda briefings with the mayor, which is a meeting that we hold the previous meet to look at the agenda and prepare for the following week. And I also attended the mayor's breakfast, which I'm sure our mayor will speak to, but it's an opportunity for both mayors from the town of Bridgewater and our own mayor at Modal to get together for a conversation and update on the happenings within council.
Thank you. In my report, I'll start by just saying that I attended the International Network of Michelin Cities Startup Pitch Competition, which is a big title, and it was held in Bridgewater. 7 entrepreneurs presented for the opportunity to advance to Italy this October. I'm really pleased to share that the winner was Greg Kerwin of Petite Riviere Farming Company. Greg is well known and a successful business builder in our region, and many will recognize him as the founder of True Leaf Sustainable Agriculture. That venture focused on vertical farming using hydroponic technology, LED lighting, and reclaimed rainwater to grow greens year-round indoors. It's estimated to be up to 30 times more efficient than traditional agriculture, using significantly less land and water. True Leaf has since been acquired by McCain Foods and is located in Ontario. Greg's newest venture, because he's very committed to having business in rural Nova Scotia, is focused on growing greens for medicinal purposes, using the chemical properties of these plants to help address chronic disease. This is an exciting example of innovation happening right here in our region, and we wish him continued success as he represents our community internationally. The Regional Growth Management Committee met recently and agreed to host an educational workshop for councillors focused on the development of the water tower and the broader water servicing needs in the area. This session is expected to take place in late September or early October, and will help inform further future discussions and decision-making for our 2 councils, both in the town of Bridgewater and here. Deputy Mayor Vino, Councillor Brooks, and our CAO and I met to discuss next steps in advancing council's economic development strategic priority. This work will continue to evolve as we look at how best to align our efforts and focus our discussions at the council table. I had the pleasure of delivering congratulatory remarks at the Municipal Council reception held at the Best Western, which I know many of you attended. 26 volunteers were recognized for their outstanding contributions to our communities. Mike Wilson was selected as Lunenburg County's nominee, representing all the volunteers in our community for the Provincial Volunteer Recognition event this fall. It was a strong reminder of the impact volunteers have in making our communities vibrant and welcoming. As Deputy Mayor Vino said, I joined Mayor Mitchell at the Mayor's Breakfast, which was hosted by Bridgewater and Area Chamber of Commerce at the neighboring building at Stonemont last week. And I spoke about Council's strategic priorities and how they were reflected in the 2026-2027 budget approved on March 31st. I really like the format, which allows us to give a little presentation and then have good question and answers, and there didn't seem to be a shortage of questions, and I think we were able to answer the questions that were presented to us. I don't know if you noticed, but there is a new business that opened just down the street from us, and it's called the Big Mustache Barbershop. And so last week I thought, you know, it's just so close, I'm just going to drop in. So I brought a box of chocolates and had a little chat with the owner, who now has, I think, 8 of these shops across Halifax, Dartmouth, and the surrounding HRM area, and is now expanded down here. And I want to share with you the email that I received from him yesterday, just saying how they appreciated the welcome to this beautiful community. As he writes, "It has been a wonderful experience starting and growing our business here, and your visit made us feel more connected and supported. I am also writing to share a concern. As a small business owner in the municipality of the District of Lunenburg, we operate Big Mustache Barbershop, a new but rapidly growing business. Since opening, we have seen very strong demand, not only in Lunenburg and Bridgewater, but also from surrounding communities such as New Minas, Middleton, Chester, Mahone Bay, and even as far as Yarmouth. We truly believe this is a beautiful and promising area, and we actively encourage young people and skilled workers to move here and build their lives. There is real opportunity, strong demand, and a welcoming community. However, we are facing serious challenges due to shortages of barbers and skilled workers locally. Despite ongoing efforts, we have struggled to hire. We have even encouraged team members and others to relocate here, but workforce and immigration challenges are making this difficult. This creates uncertainty for both workers and small businesses like ours that are trying to grow and serve the community. We want to continue investing in Lunenburg, creating jobs and contributing to the local economy. At the same time, we need support to attract and retain young workers who are willing to move here and fill essential roles. We would greatly appreciate any guidance, support, or initiatives from the municipality that can help small businesses like ours continue to grow and attract talent to this region. Thank you again for your visit and kindness and your continuing support for local business. Signed by the founder, which is Kumar Valand, Team Big Mustache. So I think his email really speaks to, I think, something that we have talked about in our discussions around economic development here, and that is the need for skilled labor at all levels, whether it be giving shaves, giving haircuts, or working in professional positions throughout the municipality. So I wanted to table that just because it's really poignant feedback on the need that many businesses are experiencing here, and a call out for us to address some of this. So I hope it does align a bit with the discussion that Deputy Mayor Vino and Councillor Brooks and I had last week when we were talking about what we should be addressing from an economic point of view, economic development point of view. So I'll leave that with you. Anything anyone wants to ask questions about before we wrap up the meeting? I don't have anything further on our agenda. other than to announce that we do have a special council meeting tonight, starting at 6 o'clock, which will deal with the next step in our municipal planning strategy, which is a report from our planning staff on what they have heard in the second round of meetings that we've held over the last 6 to 7 weeks. And that will be starting, as I said, tonight at 6 o'clock. With no further business on the agenda, I will declare the meeting adjourned.